Hi guys and welcome back to my new video. Today we're going to just talk about my actually top 5 Assassin's Creed games of all time. I know that this is going to be actually maybe a hard video for you and obviously even for me, but I think that this is kinda a real good one to just know what I think about a lot of games and what I actually prefer in these games. So with this said, we can actually start the game, obviously start our video, and just at first try to just be obviously aware of everything that I'm going to just do in this channel. So at the fifth place, we're going to just find Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and you're going to just maybe just see why am I going to just put this game actually at the fifth position. Well, the actual fact is that I really liked the game at all. Obviously, I prefer obviously the combat. I think that it was kind of similar to the Arkham series, and yeah, I think that it's kind of really better than obviously Batman Arkham Asylum that I'm playing it right now. You can actually find obviously my series right now. But I think that the good point of this game was actually the city, the setting, maybe some points of the characters, the protagonists were actually good, and obviously the missions in 1914 that were kind of really refreshing and actually very important to the lore. I really like them. And not only this, because even the fact of all of the section with the city, what you can actually do, and something to just do with the obviously the rooks. I think that this was kind of really good improvement to obviously Unity. And even with the parkour, I know that it's kind of really different from it. Maybe they should have just take from Unity the jump button, but they didn't do that. So I still hope that there were kind of some modes that could have just destroyed it and just define it really better. But I still think that, for example, in a lot of ways, it's kind of really better than Unity. And obviously, you can find my two reviews of these two games. Obviously, they were kind of done after I finished them, so they finished them all. So it was kind of a really a hot review, you can say this. But right now, even with replaying some games, I still think that this was actually pretty good. And obviously, we have to talk about the DLC. That was actually one of the best ones in the series, and that's kind of a really important thing to do because in that obviously DLC you can actually see our protagonists Jacob and Evie really just change them a lot, and you can actually see how they changed. And I think that they were kind of a really new interest, and I liked them all. And also in that DLC, I think that even I actually liked more the DLC than even the base game, only because obviously the villains are actually real better. But with this one said, we can actually take obviously the first part of the story of Syndicate. It's kind of pretty good. The only problem that I have with this one is actually how it ends, because it's not actually that important, and you the only obviously good part is the fact that you can just see a lot of new parts from the assassin in the present day, that it was kind of something that was actually new because in Unity you didn't have it. So it's okay. With this said, I mean, if you want to just see my vote for this one, I'm going to just leave it down there, so in the description just open it for just see what I actually voted in them, so you can actually see all of this in the description. With this said, we can actually move on to the next position, and that's something that you maybe won't like, but I think that this was kind of a really deserved place, and this is obviously Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And why am I putting this? I mean, I think that it's kinda a little bit better than obviously Syndicate, but the real fact that just let me put this game actually up here is the fact that this game was actually pretty surprising for me, because before I played it, I only thought that it was kind of, I mean, mid Viking game, and this wasn't actually an Assassin's Creed game. The same thing that I, for example, think for Odyssey. But the real fact that just surprised me, it was obviously all of the story, because I think that the arcs were really well written, even if there were someone that were actually a little bit little bit just downgraded from obviously the best ones. Even though, for example, the combat was very satisfying, and even stealth, because even if you can actually say that the stealth weren't obviously the main focus of this game because you were a Viking, so you actually are not an assassin. I think that they were just designing the all of the aspect of this game, all the levels were kind of there to just let you just be or a Viking or an assassin. And as you know, I am playing it as an assassin. You can actually see all of my details on a lot of videos, obviously on the stealth videos, on the video that I just show you my obviously build for Eivor. So yeah, I think that this game was actually a pretty something new. I like that they were trying to just make something near to the roots. Unfortunately, I didn't play all of the DLC, even though I know that probably the ones from Paris was actually the nearest one to just be a real Assassin's Creed game, because you have the black box missions. And yeah, I didn't play it because all of my data with that game were actually cancelled. So that's kind of detail. And obviously the parkour wasn't really good, but I think that if you just played it a lot, you can actually create something that was actually good. And yeah, there are a lot of animations that were, for example, hidden. And if you just play it a lot, you're going to just find an hole. So I think that this game was actually underrated, not for obviously the game part, the settlement. No, I'm just saying it because I think that it was actually underrated from the view obviously of the assassins community. I think that this was actually a mid Assassin's Creed game, but it was actually a really good backing game. But with all of the obviously cities, the world itself, it was actually pretty good. So with this said, we can actually move on to the third place. And this obviously is something that I just just put it actually near to my heart, and it's actually Assassin's Creed Revelations. And yeah, I just put this is because I think that this game was actually a really good one for the Ezio collection. And even if it was actually the last one of obviously his collection, his trilogy, I think that this was actually a pretty solid end to his games. Obviously with Ambers, that is actually a pretty good feeling. I think that this game wasn't really recognized obviously as a pretty good game, but I think that they should have just thought that this game was actually pretty solid, because I think that the combat, the parkour were not at their peak, but they were still there. So I think that this was kind of really interesting one. And I played it in 2020, so it was actually 5 years ago, and I really loved it. And yeah, that's kind of all for this. Now we are at the second spot, guys. At the second spot, maybe I'm going to just obviously create some rage, and that's for Assassin's Creed 2. Obviously, the ones that started it all, the ones who started our generation with Ezio, the ones that just obviously started all with our love for these games, for Ubisoft. Yeah, I know all of these things, but even though I think that this game didn't age very well. Obviously, the story, yes, but in general, I don't know. I mean, I think that I won't replay it. If you're going to just see, obviously, the video where I'm going to just explain you why I'm not going to just play some games, you will understand the fact that I love this game, but I won't replay it because I know a lot of things, so I don't want to just destroy my memories with it. If you agree, obviously, say this on the comments. If you don't agree, just add it so in the comments. I want to just know your opinions, because I think that my obviously my ranking video is kind of something that is probably new for a lot of them, for a lot of you guys, because I know that my tastes are actually pretty differently from a lot of people. And now we can actually move on to the first place. You maybe understood what this one is going to be, and that's obviously Assassin's Creed Origins. What can I say, guys? I mean, I did a lot of videos about it. You're going to just see, for example, my review video. Is it obviously a good game to just play in 2025? My obviously a lot of thoughts for example, for a new game in obviously based on this game. Guys, I just love this game. I mean, I've played it for 190 hours straight. I've just bought another copy of it because my last version got obviously broken, so now I have another one, and I think that I will replay it just because I want to and because I love this game. I don't know, guys, the parkour, even though I know that it's not actually the best one, I know, but you can actually just create something that was actually pretty good because Bio is not that slow as Able, for example. Then obviously the combat that is kind of, for me, it's kind of the perfect one in the series. The story, the villains, even though they aren't as good as, for example, Assassin's Creed 3 or 2. Obviously, guys, the protagonist, the voice acting, I think that this game is awesome. And with this said, guys, that's actually all. And let me know what you think about in the comments. And that's all. Bye, guys.